Yes, Mr. Senate President.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Madam Chairperson. Thank you very much. Allow me to ask a few questions that somehow deviates from the other offices and agencies under the DTI. But there are certain concerns that our colleagues will be taking up. But I have a particular concern involving some issues that arose from the Blue Ribbon hearing. So, with your permission, Madam Chairperson, first of all, when the President Bongbong Marcos released the name of contractors involved in the flood control anomaly, the Philippine Construction Accreditation Board, or the PCAB, was at the forefront of the investigation. Now, allegation of corruption within the PCAB surfaced when blacklisted contractors can still be issued licenses despite numerous violations. So on October 27, 2025, Your Honor, Mr. President, DTI issued a preliminary and preventive measure order against these contractors. However, on November 6, 2025, the DTI, we issued a withdrawal of the formal charges. Please take note.
Binawi ng Construction Industry Authority of the Philippines ang mga reklamo nito laban sa 16 na contractor na sangkot umano sa maanumalyang flood control projects. At dahil dyan, wala na ring bisa ang suspensyon at iba pang parusang ipinataw sa kanila. Nakatutok si Joseph Morong, exclusive.
Noong October 27, sinuspinde ng Department of Trade and Industry o DTI ang 16 ng mga kontraktor na umano'y sangkot sa maanumalyang flood control project. Kasama rito ang ilan sa mga kontraktor na sinampahan na ng reklamo sa Ombudsman. Kaya mula noon, hindi na sila maaaring mangontrata. Bukod sa pinakukumpiska ang kanilang mga gamit at sasakyan, pinapapadlock rin ang kanilang mga opisina at mga warehouse. Pinapamonitor rin ng DTI sa Coast Guard, PNP at Immigration ang paglabas-masok ng mga kontraktor. Base yan sa formal na mga reklamo na inihain ng DTI sa Philippine Contractors Accreditation Board o PCAB noong October 27 rin. Pero binabawi na yan ng DTI ngayon. Sa mga dokumentong ibinigay na pagkakatiwalaang source ng GMA Integrated News, makikita na winidraw kahapon lamang ng Construction Industry Authority of the Philippines o SIA na attached agency ng DTI ang mga reklamo nila. Kapareho lamang daw pala kasi ang investigasyon ng SIA sa nauna nang simula ng PCAB. At PCAB ang may kapangyarihan na magrekomenda ng suspensyon sa kalihim ng DTI. Kaya raw revoke na rin o wala ng bisa ang mga dating ipinataw na suspension na mangontrata sa mga kontraktor. Hinihingan pa namin ng pahayag si DTI Secretary Cristina Roque at ang PCAB. Para sa GMA Integrated News, Joseph Morong, nakatutok 24 oras.
Thank you, Mr. President. You see, my question now, is this the first time na mayroong mga nakasuhan ang DTI? At ang itsura naman kasi parang sila po'y naguluhan sa proseso ng investigasyon sa sarili nilang departamento. Can we be enlightened on what happened?
Yes, I was given to understand that this isn't the first time. That in fact, ang PCAB very active sa pagsususpenso at pagre-revoke ng lisensya. Medyo nagulanta rin ako nung narinig ko at nabasa itong balita na pinakita po ng ating Senate President. Dahil bakit naman withdraw bigla? Pero ang totoo, ang nangyari, nagkapatong-patong, nataranta yata lahat, nagkapatong-patong ang kaso. At ang nangyari po, yung PCAB may ongoing investigation na direkta yung solusyon, iso-suspend o i-re-revoke yung mga lisensya. Yung SIAP wanted to undertake the same thing. So they withdrew one case to focus on the suspension and revocation under SIAP itself para hindi na doble-doble at walang makalusot. So ang status ngayon, ang status para maliwanagan tayong lahat, ang nangyari, yung as of September 1, naabutan ng PCAB board yung 9 contractors licenses ng Diskaya. Lahat nung siyam na yan suspenso na. In fact, naging permanent revocation na siya as of September 1. Tapos, yung licenses of the other contractors, while they are active, they still are pending the investigation and possible board action of PICAB na. PICAB na, hindi na SIAP. Pagkatapos, a resolution will be released shortly, malamang next week, dun sa Wawaw Builders at Sims Construction Trading. Sa madaling salita, ongoing na ang pagre-revoke at suspendin ng mga airing contractors na ito.
So there was a withdrawal.
Kasi nagdoble po yung kaso.
I
Dalawa
see.
kasi yung in charge, both PICAB and SIAP.
And SIAP.
So they decided tumbukin na kagad yung revocation para mapigil. Wag na muna yung investigation, dire-diretso na sa pagre-revoke.
After this withdrawal, ngayon, sige, may mga pending sila. Are there preventive orders now issued? Meron ba kayong, are these the same or stricter preventive measures ang gagawin ngayon ng PICAB?
Yes, right now, the problem is that PICAB is not operational, as we know, because they came here to the Blue Ribbon hearing. Nag-resign yung 3 board member. So, isa-isa sila ina-appoint, 2 na yatang na-appoint, kulang pa rin ng isa pa. So, yun ang inaantay. Pero in the meantime, ang sinasabi, yung continuous investigation and review of documents submitted by the contractors. Sasabihin ko yung tapat, ako, medyo diskumpiyado ako dyan sa PICAB. Sabi ko nga sa Department of Trade and Industry, pwede naman take over na yan ng SIAP. Yung SIAP, the governing body, can just take over even if the board of PICAB is no longer active. Because
So-
it's very clear in the PD that, in fact, they have authority, jurisdiction, and supervision, and that they are able to suspend and investigate, subpoena, and so on, these contractors. Dapat take over na talaga ng DTI kahit wala pang kompletong member.
SIAP.
Yes po.
SIAP. So are we saying that the investigation should not be separate? Hindi ba dapat maging separate investigation, may sariling investigation ng PICAB sa nangyayari at saka ang DTI?
Yan rin po ang tinatanong ko, pero sa kanila, sa pakiwari nila, magduduplicate lamang at mas nakakalito raw kung kaya't inuna na lamang nila yung agarang pagre-revoke ng mga lisensya ng Diskaya contractors at saka yung susunod, yung Wawaw and Sims. So, hopefully, tamang desisyon yun. Pero, in agreement po ako sa inyo na dapat mas aggressive, both PICAB na and SIAP.
So are there cases filed against these officials, the former officials of the PICAB officials? May we know kung nag-resign na sila ba o ba't ano ba nangyari? Although they resigned, I don't think they should stop there, di ba? Are there cases filed against these PICAB officials?
Medyo mabagal yung reaction ng SIAP. Wala pa Wala pang kaso kasi nag-iimbestiga pa lang sila. Sabi ko nga, napakarami ng ebidensya, ano pang imbestigahan. Dapat kasuhan na yan, kahit preventive suspension man lang. Pero andun pa rin sila sa investigative phase.
I don't think we should stop there, no? Dapat, yes, you're right. Push through with the investigation because baka yung mga bago nyo ilalagay o bagong maya-appoint, makikita, wala, magre-resign lang pala, okay na rin kami. Di ba? Baka hindi maging maghigpit.
Dapat hindi nakakaligtas, dapat maparusahan at ang liwaliwanag. At ang sabi ko nga, pati yung rules and regulations ng membership of the board, paltan na. Very clear naman yung conflict of interest kung public works contractor, ikaw pa ang regulatory body, hindi naman po tama.
Correct, agreed. And I'm glad I am hearing the chairperson in charge of the budget of the DTI watching over it. Thank you very much for that. Anyway, let's wait for the cases to be filed and what will happen later on. Let me move on to another topic. More or less, ramdam na naman nila kung ano yung gusto natin as far as that issue is concerned.
Sang-ayon tayong lahat dyan.
Oh, okay. Yesterday, I asked the ICT regarding the proliferation of illegal substances being sold on various online platforms. There are abortifacients openly sold on Facebook and illegal substances such as peyote sold on Shopee. Ayan, nakikita niyo po dyan, ano? DICT conveyed that they coordinate this with DTI. What is the monitoring and regulating process and action being taken by DTI regarding these matters? According to DICT, nagko-coordinate sa inyo.
Yes, ang DTI ang binigyan ng responsibilidad mag-monitor ng online selling of these products, including abortifacients. Ito nga, nakikita natin, ghost guns, weapons and ammunition, illegal drugs. Kung ano-anong binibenta online, they seem to get away with it. Ito nga yung problema. Pero, meron digital surveillance and tracking, ang DTI, Fair Trade Enforcement Bureau, and Electronic Commerce Bureau. Ang nagagawa nila, mag-take down at mag-blacklist. May compliance and blacklist orders. Ang balita, 108 takedown na sila. Ang problema, dun sa 25,301 product listings, 30 days lang pala yung takedown. After 30 days, babalik na naman sila ayon sa Internet Transactions Act unless a court order is issued at which the takedown becomes permanent. Hindi pa pala sila nagkakaso sa huwes. Kaya hanggang ngayon, puro 30 days lang. Sabi nga natin, dapat mas masigasig sila dyan kasi kung ano-anong kalokohan ng binibentang online.
Correct. May we ask that you pursue this vigorously. Kapag ulit-ulitan lang tayo, every month, ulitan lang tayo after the takedown. No? So, I think I've delivered the message. I will not belabor the point anymore or the interpolations. Hindi ako mahilig sa mahahabang predicate bago magtanong eh. Alam mo naman ako, diretso agad, no? So that we save time. So, submit na lang to the Senate, please, kung ano na mga actions taken and what are these, what are the results of this, and then the follow-ups, And then, after the takedown, the blacklist, ano ginagawa, ano nangyayari? Perhaps we could include that in the hearings of the
e-commerce
Bill 191 o yung anti-fake news, fake content natin.
Isa pa yun, opo.
Na bill, di ba?
Yes.
O we will
At saka
be able
yung
to take...
e-commerce, pwedeng i-revisit po.
Yun.
Kasi
okay.
mahina silang maghain ng kaso sa korte. Ang dami naman nilang abogado. Sabi ko, yung 108 takedowns na yan, pabalik-balik every month. Kalukuhan to, pati yung fines. Ang liliit ng fine, ang lalaki ng kumpanya ng Lazada, Shopee, mga big time yan eh. Talagang binabaliwala yung mga fine.
So, okay, so not belaboring the point dahil ito medyo sagi lang sa budget nila because we want them to be on their best foot. Sige, thank you very much. We will await the submissions.
If I may just add, SP po, in Australia, nag-give up na sila sa regulation ng online products. Ang ginawa nila, absolute effective this coming December 10, the Australian government will implement a law banning social media access for individuals under 16 years old. Ganong katindi. So, hindi ko naman sinasabi na yan, ganong kadrakon yan ang gagawin natin, but we should really consider something especially for the youth. At saka yung pinaparusahan dito, yung platform, hindi yung magulang at bata. Parang tama yung approach.
Correct. Something to study. Thank you for the information. Thank you, Madam Chairperson, and thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senate President. Next in line, the gentleman from Isabela, Senator Rafi Tulfo, is recognized.